81-59 is the final score as we welcome in the head coach of Norfolk State University, Coach Rob Jones, as well as Brian Moore Jr. We'll get your first opening statement about the game, Coach, and then we'll ask questions.
It's good to get a first conference win and start the season off 1-0. At the time, the guys know it. In spurts, we didn't play our best basketball, so we have to play a lot better if we want to conquer the conference as time goes on. But it was a learning experience. I think the guys could see that teams are going to play extremely hard against us. We're kind of the measuring stick, and if they didn't know, they know now, because UMES played a tough game. We were able to open it up in the second half a little bit, but they played us tough. So hats off to them.
You look at the ball game and the way it sort of went ebbs and flows. You kind of know that's how things go. We got out to a 17-point lead. They sort of walked it down. What was the difference between that period when we went up to 17 to being only up 4?
They switched to really a regular 2-3 zone. Honestly, it wasn't nothing too quirky about it. We just didn't handle it the right way. We just didn't move at the same pace we moved when we were going man to man. And we told our guys, before this UMES game, that most teams can't guard us man to man, whether high major, low major, mid major, whatever the case is. We have too many actions, and too good of players to really guard us man. So they're gonna go zone. Even like the High Point game, we just talked about, High Point, they played that 3-2 zone all year, but it was out of necessity. So we just got to do a better job handling the zone, and I think we'll do a better job as time goes on.
I think in the beginning of the game where they were trying to take Brian Moore away, we did a good job of moving the basketball all night. 23 assists is a number. I know you focus somewhere around 15 for a game, but 23 out of 33 made baskets is pretty good. And Coel did a good job of making himself available, especially early in the ball game.
Yeah, Coel has some good dunks. The thing with Coel that he got to do, really the whole team, but we talk about Coel, is just maintain level consistency. Because in the first half, he was he's dunking, he's flying around. In the second half, we didn't quite see the same thing, and that's his biggest thing, because he's 6'11", he can do a whole bunch of different things, dribble, pass, shoot, but he can have a consistent motor is his challenge. So hopefully, he'll have a consistent motor the next game. But he did play well. He played well.
You look at the way this game is going to end up looking. Your bench players played great for you tonight, led by guys like Chris Fields Jr. with 14, Jay Lonnie with 10 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. He led you in that category. I know Brian came in here with you, but your bench really played well for you tonight. Yeah,
that's the thing that we talk about is our depth. We've been talking about that all year, that we think that we have, we think that we have depth, and we hope that we do, and it looks like we do, in spurts. But today it definitely showed, a guy like Jelani, clearly he's a starter, and he plays starter minutes. The thing with Jelani is that, we actually try to keep him out of foul trouble. So by him not starting, kind of keeps him on the floor a little longer these days, especially like we can have him in crunch time now. Before we couldn't have him because he was fouling too much. So I guess an executive decision had to be made, and he's coming off the bench. But it's good to see Chris Fields get going. Obviously he's been struggling a little bit, and we know that Chris is more the player that he showed today in the second half than he probably showed the last 6 games that he played. So it's good to see him going. I know he made a 3, and I know he's probably going to watch him say to the camera, "Don't fall 3, happy, Chris." Glad you made one. That was his first 3 of the year, so I know he's excited about that. But let's keep it, let's keep it cool.
Looking at the guy to your left now, is getting to the point where you're running out of things to say. Because it seems like you're saying.
No, I can say a lot. I can say a lot. He get a lot said to him in the huddle.
But also, even with that, like he's a kid that can take that kind of yelling at and still give you 22, 7, 4, 3 steals and 4 blocks.
Yeah, it's not yelling. It's a spirited conversation.
And you lied to me before, but
it's not yelling. It's a spirited conversation that we have. That's what we have. Spirited conversations. It's not yelling. It's not anger. Spirited conversations.
Yes, sir.
Is what we have. And so we had a couple of spirited conversations throughout the course of the game, and he answered. He stepped up and answered the bell. With 22 and 7. And one thing I will say, I know you're gonna ask him some questions, but he's doing a way better job rebounding. Something that we told him that he could do from the beginning of the year, honestly. The last 2 games, he had 7 here, and he had 10 against High Point. Not quite sure how much he had against Tennessee, but he's been rebounding the ball a lot better. And To win rebounding battles, the guards got to rebound because the first people to get boxed out are the bigs. So now the guards have to fly in there and get it, and he's been doing a good job of it recently.
And as a matter of fact, the team has been doing a better job of rebounding.
Yeah, we're still not there yet, but we're making strides. We're making strides.
Exactly. Brian, it's rare to see a guard shoot 57%, especially you do get to the basket a lot, but taking some sort of jump shot. You have been very, very consistent, but also you've been very, very efficient this year. What do you attribute that to?
I just think the work I put in. I practice a lot of the shots I take. I practice every day. I get extra reps in, and I just got a faith of confidence in me. You know what I'm saying? Like coach tell me when I'm taking bad ones, but other than that, like he just keep preaching, hey, get it up, or if it's short, shoot it high and stuff like that. So they just breathe confidence into me, so to allow me to be the player I am.
Well, this is probably one of the most complete games that your team has played. I know it's conference season, and everybody's saying you're coming off a game where you played really well against Tennessee. Is this something that you say because we played such a very tough non-conference season schedule that this is what you should see when you get in conference play? I
say that, but then again, we got to play every team twice. So players is more familiar with players, coaches is more familiar with players. So even though we had a good non-conference, the job not done, and conference is gonna be even tougher because, like he said, we the targeted now. Like we're not going after people with that mindset. Like, hey, we got to go get this. Like they're coming after us. So I feel like we gonna have some tough games. We gonna have some games that's gonna be close, and we gonna have to execute.
Knowing Coach Jones, like I know him, there's a couple of numbers that he wants to make sure that he hits every day. Forcing turnovers, you got 12 turnovers. You're forced 12 turnovers, but 35% defensively. That's where he wants to hang his hat. And even though we scored 81 points, that 35% is where he wants to be. What are y'all doing, especially over the last 3 games? Last 3, I know for sure. We have been locked in defensively. What's been the change?
I think the biggest change is that we got so many changing defenses that it messes with coaches and players, like the actions that they want to run. And we definitely need to be better at man. That need to be our primary defense, and we got to have like our zone and stuff like that. We have like secondary. That's when teams get real hot. But I just think the biggest thing is we giving more effort, more consistency on that end. Coach said like before we played High Point, Tennessee, and this last game, he said that hey, I shouldn't be coaching effort and intensity these next 3 games because we should be excited to play top mid-major, #1 team in the country, and then conference play. And I think we're doing a better job of that in these last 3 games coming back from break.
Lisa might listen to me.
Yeah, listen. Regurgitate. That sounds like Coach Rob Jones. That's Rob Jones. Delaware State's next. Yeah. Don't quite know when it's going to be or how it's going to shake out with the snowstorm or whatever that they're talking about.
Oh, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah. Okay. But Delaware State's a team that we've seen. We saw them in the Chris Paul. They're a little bit different than last year, but still with the same guy leading them. What's going to be the thing we're going to have to do to face that tough Del State team at home? And the last time we were there, we just didn't play well.
I told the guys that story already. Just leaving the locker room that we laid an egg up there, honestly. And we can't let that happen again. And Del State's a team that they play well together. They got good cohesiveness. They also play zone. So we got to handle that. They play a different kind of zone, but they got to handle that. And they were playing like with a bounce. I mean, the Chris Paul class, they were playing with a bounce like we were playing with a bounce. So I'm sure they almost, I guess maybe I like bulletin board material, gets me going. But I'm sure like if they're 2-0 and we're 2-0, they try to figure out who really won the Chris Paul Classic. I said we did because we never lost a game in the Chris Paul Classic, but I'm sure they said they didn't lose this year. So this is the Chris Paul championship on Monday. It's the championship game on Monday.
It is. Thank you, Coach. Congratulations. 1-0 in conference play, most important.
Yep. That would say more, baby.